Okay, well, great to have you on a virtual Zoom, Jason. First of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into cycling and what actually drives you?
So I grew up on a farm, and my parents were quite opposed to having motorbikes. And my dad sort of discovered mountain biking when at first, I guess the bikes were 3x7 speed back then. They were all chromoly. Suspension was only in its prototype sort of stage. So I'm trying to think when that would have been. When I was back in year seven, I got my first mountain bike, fully rigid 26-inch, and bikes have certainly changed since then. So the reason why I got into it was essentially to chase cows around the property. That's what we did. I didn't start racing until probably 3 years later when I was in year 10. There was this talent identification program happening at schools, and I was identified as being having some potential in cycling. And I got directed into the Hunter Mountain Bike Association and started competing there as a 16 and 17-year-old. I guess I was a student at the time, and started, I guess the only event that was really happening was either cross country or downhill. And four cross was starting to happen. So I went down and started doing national championship events. So I guess look at my mountain bike journey. I was racing cross country from I guess it's almost like casual racing weekend warrior, sort of training 3 or 4 times per week. And I'd do the state series events going sort of through uni. It wasn't until I was 23 or 24 years of age that I realised that people actually train 6 days a week if you want to be serious. So once I started jumping on that 6-day-a-week bandwagon, noticed that my performance went through the roof. And then a couple of years later, picked up some sponsorship. Mountain biking sort of evolved to be from cross country to have all these other different disciplines, and 8 hours became popular and 12 hours, and I just went in anything and everything. And then these things called 24 hours started to pop up, and originally started racing as a team before working out that you could stay warmer by just riding around solo. So I sort of went off into that particular path.
You went down the solo track. Is that what sort of grabbed your attention, or was that something that you were just good at and that's how you found yourself there?
Yeah, 24 hours is a bit of a weird sport. I think when they first started, I'd never considered doing anything like that. That was sort of for the nutters, the crazy guys out there. At the time, I was racing 8 hours solo, and I thought that was big enough. I was, completely done at the end of it. So with that, as I became better at doing 8 hours and 12-hour events, I became more successful at them. And I don't know, doing 12 hours and 24 hours in a team, I worked out that at one stage I could probably almost be as fast as my whole team if I went solo. And so, following year, I went and tried the thing solo. And I think my first solo 24 hour was back in 2006, so quite a few years ago. And every 24 hour I've done since then sort of been a learning journey. I rode my first dual suspension bike in '07 and worked out that's the only way to do a 24-hour event. Being comfortable, and I guess pain minimization is sort of the key to doing 24-hour racing, and having really good equipment is a big part of that.
Yeah, and I suppose it takes a certain type of person to race 24 hours. I mean, tell us about the sort of makeup or psychological mindset that you have to ride those sorts of races.
The more I do 24-hour races and the more people I meet along the way, I feel that more people could actually have a crack at the 24-hour. Really just comes down to what your expectation is. So some people feel that they haven't finished or completed a 24-hour unless you're riding and staying awake for the whole time. While I've seen other people just go, look, I'll just do a lap, sit down for 5 minutes every lap, have something to eat, have a nap for 5 minutes if I want, and then go out again. So there's different levels of motivation for people wanting to do a 24-hour. It's just a matter of setting your own bar and going for it.
And so how did you connect with JetBlack?
JetBlack were a big sponsor of some of the early 24-hour races that I went to. So I sort of become aware of this particular brand. And at one of the events I went to, they were demoing out some lights. And so I was using these cheap old candlestick lights and had torches strapped to my frame doing my first 24-hour. and saw people like Craig Gordon go tearing past me with these HOD lights. So these things are amazing. If I want to be half competitive, I've got to get myself some of these. And so knowing that JetBlack had some of these demo lights, I stuck my hand out and was very fortunate that I was able to secure some support with lights going into 24-hour racing. And the first few World Championship events, that's what I used. I've used, and I actually since then, I've always used JetBlack lights for 24-hour racing. And I've got a really good setup from Light in Motion right now for the next 24-hour I'll be going in.
And so tell us a little bit about your achievements in your racing.
It's pretty hard to know where to start when you're talking about achievements, because I think one of my biggest achievements is winning a state title back in, I would think that'd be 2008 or 2009. I thought that was awesome, and then went on to win a national 24-hour event. So I've won a couple of 24 hours. I've won a couple of marathon championships. I think they're some of the events that I've been the most fond of. I think marathons, because it's just, you don't know what's going to happen in those events. Marathons are just, it's hardcore. You've got the guys that are super, super fit going in them. They're, I guess, a UCI recognised event. But with my achievements, I've won 7 world championship titles in 24-hour racing. I've won a couple of marathon national titles. And I think I'm up to 13 or something like that 24-hour national titles. A few there, and JetBlack's been with me the whole time.
Yeah, and so are you still racing competitively?
Oh, anything and everything I'm still having a bit of a go at. So I was really hoping the World 24-hour champs will be on this year in Armidale. And currently at this stage, they won't be the World Championships, but they'll still at this stage be the National and potentially the Oceania Championships. So that'll be something that I'll be focusing on throughout the next few months. That's why I'm pretty stoked to get onto this new Vault and the Rockerboard, because it just makes training so much more accessible. Rain, hail, shine, you can just get on and have the pedal. Even if you've got only half an hour or an hour, it's still worth getting on and going for it.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about your training. I mean, what does it take to be world champion?
Oh, it's a fair commitment, but it's a fair commitment from family as well. You've got to be making some sacrifices to be able to find the time to do the training. And that's why as soon as I find out, yep, national championships are on, then I'll just invest a ridiculous amount of time building some base, trying to get some muscular endurance on board and going for it. It's not something that I'm going to train for yet because of those sacrifices that you do have to make. I've just had a look at all the power numbers and compared training indoors versus outdoors, and I can see some massive benefits in jumping on the indoor trainer. So I'll be doing a fair bit more indoor training leading up to future longer distance events.
Yeah, so what percentage of your training do you do indoors versus outdoors?
So in the past, I haven't done much indoor training at all. So I found that in Newcastle, doesn't rain that much, it doesn't get that cold, so I haven't found it to be that big a benefit. I've found lots of people to ride with, but since getting the Volt and signing up to Zwift, my whole attitude's changed. I've noticed that with the power numbers that I can get some serious training benefits from just sitting on the trainer for an hour and a half, the same sort of benefits that you wouldn't get unless you're outdoors for 2 or 2.5 hours. I'm going to be putting some more indoor sessions in, and potentially making them nighttime sessions where I don't have a group to train with, or I might need lights to go outside. Come downstairs, jump on the trainer, maybe chuck on a movie and go for it. I use power meters on every bike I have. So if you look at my garage, my road bike, cyclocross, hardtails, dual suspension bikes, they've all got power meters on. So that when I go training, I can get a real score of how much load that I'm doing. On the indoor bike, looking at the sort of training load I can achieve, I feel that it becomes a really effective way to go training. Sometimes, if I go outside and do 100 kilometres, I might get a training load of, a TSS score of 200. I can jump on the indoor trainer for 2.5 hours and get the same sort of training load. So it can become a much more efficient use of time, because your muscles, you've got time under tension all the time. When you jump outside on the road bike, you might have traffic lights. If you're riding in a group, you're not on the front smashing it the whole time. So if you want a good training, effective workout, jump on the indoor trainer.
Right, and so you've been using a the new JetBlack Vault smart trainer. How has that been going for you?
I've been loving the new Vault. I've used some of the older trainers. I've never signed up to Zwift. I just haven't seen the benefit in doing that. But with how well the new Vault works, I signed up straight away to Zwift, and I'm just probably enjoying it a little bit too much. Probably it's a good thing that lockdown's going on, so I'm not offending too many of my friends by not being available to train with them, so I'm too busy online. There's such a big online community. And I find in this lockdown times, having community and having a bit of accountability is a good way to go training. So I've already found some people that I'm, regularly training with. On a Friday, I'll be doing a team time trial where it's like, I have to be there. I'm part of a team. This is important. Get on the trainer and go for it. Setting my alarm set for just after 4 o'clock so I can make sure I meet this virtual race up. There's different people around the world in this team time trial. Some are from the US, where they get to race in the afternoon, where I'm getting up at 4 o'clock to make sure I can sort of beat the clock. So it's been a great thing. I did try the Everesting challenge. I've done quite a few Everest outside, and that seems to be something that I'll do when I want to get fit. I think it's a very effective way. It sets you a clear goal and target to go for.
Yeah. So you've just taken part in the Everest challenge on your birthday.
Yes, I gifted myself with the new Rockerboard, which I'm very, very happy with. And I thought the best way to test it out was to go and do this virtual Everesting thing. I know I've seen people do product reviews where they might take the bike for a ride for half an hour and try and put their opinion down. I thought I'd spend 13 and a half hours pedaling up and down out to Zwift to give it a real test out. I'm not going to use a static trainer without the rocker plate. It's great. It allows the bike to move around exactly how it wants to. Well, it's more your body just, being able to move and being free, as opposed to really being that, stiff, locked in, ride no hands without thinking about it. It also helps engage the core muscle. So, yeah, you feel like you're riding a bike. So it's a great asset and something I'd add to every static trainer that I purchase in future. And at times I'd get off the bike and forget that this rocker plate is underneath the bike, because you just feel that that's part of how riding should be like. And I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that the bike didn't feel so rigid. The bike just moved as it wanted to. It's not wasn't locked in place.
Yeah, and did you feel that it helped at all with taking pressure off your sit bones and some of your other joints? And I mean, and also your bike. Did you notice that at all?
Oh, I heard all the marketing, jargons and term thing thrown around. I thought these claims are, too good. There's no way that this rocker plate can actually, relieve pressure and take pressure off different places. But yeah, it allowed your body to move as it, naturally would when you pedal. So I actually really enjoyed the fact that, yeah, your pressure was definitely changed up as you're riding around.
And obviously not everybody's doing 13-hour sessions, but if I was doing a 1 or 2 hour session, would I notice that difference?
Oh, definitely. It wouldn't really matter the difference. And so I think if I get in for half an hour, go for a 1 hour session, I'm definitely going to make sure that rocker plate is underneath my trainer, just so I can get that, sensation of the bike being able to move how it wants to move.
Yeah, and did it take you much to get used to?
As I said before, it probably took me 5 to 10 seconds of going, whoa, what's going on here? But once I noticed originally I didn't have even pressure in both the balls on the plate. And so during the setup, I actually really liked the setup process, in that the whole unit, when you pull out of the box, it comes with a pump, comes with a level so you can get your bike sorted. And it makes a difference. If you don't have your bike level, yeah, you definitely do kind of feel off to the edge. But, a little bit of tweaking with getting those balls balanced, using that level that's included, the setup was perfect. Within 5-10 seconds, I was riding it and not even thinking that I was on the plate at all. By the end of 13 and a half hours, I was like, I completely forgot that I was on the plate and just realized that I felt good the whole time.
So what does your family do when you're on the bike for like 13 hours?
Oh, come and join me for a couple of, and that's one of the benefits, isn't it? It's like if I go on Everest outdoors, they'll come and join me at some stage during the day. But yeah, they'll pop down occasionally, and I'd see them every lap. So I'd go and do a lap. walk upstairs. Hi guys, what's going on? Yeah, let's have a coffee. Let's have lunch together. Quick, run back down before I get to the bottom of the hill. Jump back on, and away you go. Also, as an opportunity to watch a few movies together. I didn't pull the Xbox out, but I could have been doing some Xbox with my son. It's not a bad setup. But what I do want to do is get a second trainer and a second setup so that my son can join me on the bike as well. That'd be really cool. He's lifting side by side, going for rides together, and especially if it's raining outside, we can still get out and go for a ride together. Actually, you can take your time is a big thing. There's no traffic around. So, and that's why, like, where I live in Newcastle, if I look at the time of day, I wouldn't hit the roads after probably 7 o'clock in the morning. There's just a lot of cars around. You'd have to be very selective as to what tracks and trails you go on, or you'd have to go off road, which is, perfectly fine. And that's why I can see in different environments, you're doing a lot more training on the indoors. And during lockdown, with no groups to ride with, I'm going to be spending a whole lot more time on the indoor trainer, training with groups online.
And have you thought about doing any racing?
Oh, virtual racing?
Yeah.
I've signed up to this time trial every Friday. And it sucks because I'm really bad at maintaining a high heart rate. And I made the mistake of I always have breakfast before I go and do a training ride. Last Friday, had breakfast, went down to do the team time trial, and I had to pace myself to try and keep that breakfast down. It was so bad. So I'm going to be ready this Friday, no breakfast, 45 minutes as hard as you can, straight into it.
Excellent.
I'll look at some of the other races, and it almost feels like you've got to build up confidence to know that you can sprint really hard on the trainer and it's okay. There's different pacing strategies with the whole, you don't want to be at the front coming close to the line because you get the drafting benefit. It's there's weird calculations in Zwift. But yeah, I'm definitely keen to give some more racing a bit of a go.
And how do you find pushing really hard when you're on the rocker plate?
As I was doing outdoor Zwift, I forgot I was on the rocker plate. I'm in the biggest gear at times, standing up to give the legs a rest, rocking side to side, and just it felt normal. I didn't feel like I was on the static trainer, so quite enjoyed that. And as I was saying, didn't notice that I was on the plate at all. Just took it for granted that that's how the bike feels. It actually feels nice and comfortable underneath you.
And so you would recommend it?
Highly recommend it. If you're buying an indoor trainer, it doesn't have to be a JetBlack Vault, but regardless what trainer you're on, there's definitely a benefit in getting the rocker plates. I wish I could get people around right now to have a go at the thing because, highly recommended. And I'd suggest have a go. Have a go at one first before you make that commitment. But if you want to hear my opinion, I love the thing. And I'm going to use it all the time in future with whatever trainer I'm using. For my school, that's what I was looking at, buying an indoor trainer that has a power meter output on. And to get one of those, looking at $4,000 just for a bike kind of setup. I'm going, well, if you get one of these trainers for just over $1,000, you can put a road bike on it for another $1,000 and you're half the price. Yeah. But you chuck the road bike on there for my sort of junior team that I manage. So with that junior team, we thought, if we've got 7 or 8 of us, all of these trainers, we'll be able to do like a Zoom meetup, jump on Zwift together or through Discord so we can talk to each other and go for a group ride together at 7:30 at night. So instead of tearing down the cycleway, we can all jump on the trainer together, pick a loop. Those people that are feeling good, you guys get on the front, you drive it. We'll have set meet points and we can be calling intervals as we go. So we can say, guys, look, tonight's focus is going to be 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Headphone everyone up, have a social chat. All right, no talking, you're puffing now, let's go for it kind of thing. It'll give me one extra training session per week where I'm like, I wouldn't normally ride now, but I got to get through. Let's go and do it. Potentially link them into, Zwift as well so we can meet up there and then link it into today's plan so I can prescribe individual workouts for all the kids. So there's plenty of things you can do with that variable resistance. It's a very technology. 14, 15-year-old kid, I probably wouldn't be going, you just go and ride out in the middle of somewhere to go and meet a group and then, get your own way home. But for parents to go downstairs, jump on your trainer, go and meet up with all your friends and your coaches, go into your training session, it's a peace of mind kind of thing. So I think that's going to be a win for parents and for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that's where all this technology is going, is the ability to go out when you want, how you want, and still have a good opportunity to train, and the community that goes with it. Essentially, it's you're not riding alone, but you're riding with a community of people, but you're just doing it in the comfort of your own home. Hey, Jason, it's been really good catching up with you. Really appreciate your time. I'm really stoked that you've enjoyed the gear, and yeah, let's be in touch down the track.
Any excuse to get on the trainer and go for it.